world says goodbye to hockey trailblazer and Leafs legend Börje Salming.
The first Swede inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame.
We were all touched by this weekend a couple weeks ago.
They say never meet your heroes. This guy was my hero, and he lived up to all my expectations.
Tributes are pouring in for Salming, who passed away today, just months after announcing he had been diagnosed with ALS and just weeks after he was given an emotional tribute right here in Toronto. Plus,
there is a lot of people like him, and they have the right always to live as a human being.
Peel police say they have launched a review after an autistic teen from Mississauga was tasered despite being on the vulnerable persons registry. Plus,
I mean, this is public money, up to $10 billion they're spending here.
what exactly is causing the delay with the Eglinton Crosstown LRT? Two city councillors are demanding answers, saying they are fed up with the lack of transparency. Good evening, I'm Kelda Yoon. The hockey world is mourning the death of one of its greats tonight. Leafs legend Börje Salming has died at the age of 71 after a brief battle with ALS. The former defenseman and Hall of Famer spent 16 seasons with the team. Just a couple of weeks ago, he was given an emotional tribute at Scotiabank Arena. Our Dale Manukduk is live outside there tonight, where Salming has a statue on Legends Row. And Dale, obviously a very difficult day for the Leafs and their fans.
Yeah, Kelda, I'm here in Maple Leaf Square where they just turned off the Jumbotron. There was previously a large, powerful image tribute to Salming there throughout much of the day. A fitting image for a Leafs legend, as you mentioned, one of the greatest to wear the blue and white. But if you come over here to Legends Row, there is a growing memorial at his statue, some flowers, balloons, candles as well. He was an icon, a trailblazer, and those are words that are used often, but not lightly in the case of Salming. He truly was a pioneer, somebody who changed the game of hockey, who made it more inclusive. Our national winter sport, the NHL, neither of them would look the way they do today if it wasn't for him.
And the highest scoring defenseman in Maple Leafs history, Börje Salming.
Just 2 weeks ago, Salming returned to Toronto for the annual Hall of Fame ceremonies, where he was honored at center ice. It was an emotional night for former captain Daryl Sittler, who was by his side.
He was holding my arm, and I looked at some of the current players, Nylander and some of the other ones, the very sincere, stoic look on their face and the respect that they had for him.
Respect is earned, and did Börje Salming ever earn it? Starting in 1973, he spent 16 years with the Leafs. Salming would retire the all-time leader in assists and is fourth in all-time points. In 1996 came the crescendo. He became the first Swedish player to be inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame.
People say the NHL's never been better here in 22-23. Börje Salming had a lot to do with that because he essentially was the first European player to come over to really make his mark on the league.
Salming was originally brought here as a highly skilled playmaking defenseman and was quick to demonstrate the ferocity and toughness that defined hockey in the 70s and 80s. SiriusXM NHL Network radio host Scott Laughlin calls Salming his hockey hero. He still owns his Salming sweater, purchased when he was 8 years old.
I was 9 years old, and I was a shy kid. My dad worked at CCM, hockey equipment manufacturer, of course, so he had an in to get me in after a Leafs game to meet Börje. At the age of 9, as I said, I was very, very shy. I got cold feet. I never did take my dad up on that offer.
Laughlin did end up meeting his idol several times decades later, once in the very Maple Leaf Gardens dressing room he missed out on years ago.
They say never meet your heroes. This guy was my hero, and he lived up to all my expectations.
The news of Börje Salming's death hit many Leafs fans hard today.
I admire him very much, and one of my favorite athletes ever. And yeah, I mean, incredibly talented.
He meant a lot to my generation of hockey.
The honoring at Scotiabank Arena 2 weeks ago was the last time many would see Salming alive, and the final time Sittler and Salming would be on the ice together. Sittler recalls speaking with Salming's family afterwards.
They've never seen him so happy since he was diagnosed with ALS. So he was back in his comfort zone with us and his friends and the city that he played so hard for all these years.
Now, Kelda, you see that there are still a couple of people popping by, dropping off some flowers, but what a fitting storybook-like ending it was for Salming, Kelda, when you think about it. He returns to the city where he spent most of his NHL career. He's joined by his closest teammates, got a standing ovation from the fans. What a incredible way to say one last goodbye.
Yeah, not a dry eye in that room that night. Thanks so much, Dale. That's our Dale Manukduk live for us tonight. We have an update tonight on a story CBC Toronto News first brought you. Peel police say they're reviewing what led officers to taser a 19-year-old with autism earlier this month after neighbors spotted him playing in a pile of leaves. This happened despite the fact that the young man, who is nonverbal, was on the vulnerable persons registry. Telly Ricci has the latest.
Madge Darwich says his son Abdullah hasn't been the same since November 4th. Now he's afraid of strangers.
In general, Abdullah is a tough boy. I mean, he's young and his wounds are recovering quickly. But the only problem that he still has something affecting him inside. I mean, he didn't come yet as he was before the incident.
Earlier this month, Abdullah was handcuffed and tasered after wandering from his home in his underwear. At the time, police said they were responding to a call about a suspicious person in a state of undress attempting to enter a vehicle and a house. They also said officers were unaware of Darwich's identity or condition.
I have been visited by the police superintendent. So I already started a case, with my lawyer.
Abdullah was registered as a vulnerable person with police. Peel police have now said they recognize the severe impact of the arrest.
Not only on Mr. Darwich, but his family and the entire community. We're currently in the process of consulting subject matter experts to identify how we can better serve this community through increased collaboration and opportunities to strengthen training.
In general, I'm happy that they are reacting, for this incident, but I will consider what they said and we'll see in future.
Autism Canada has a similar reaction.
It's a step in the correct direction. I'm glad they're acknowledging that there were mistakes and there are still problems dealing with interaction between autistic people and the police. I have to say we would like to see the action before we start celebrating.
Bruce Petherick says in addition to better training for first responders, there also needs to be more community awareness.
We are offering the Peel Police our recognizing behavior training for free.
Peel Police didn't address this offer specifically, but said they're open to further enhancing its supports, training, and engagement.
My main goal is just to raise our voice, not only me. Me and other people like Abdullah, they have the right to walk in the street safely.
And while Abdullah may not fully understand the support that's been flowing into his family's home, for his father, notes like this bring comfort.
They said to Abdullah, just want to say you are so important and you make the world shine.
Talia Ricci, CBC News, Toronto.
5 of the largest healthcare unions are urging the province to do more to address a shortage of healthcare workers and the surge in hospitalized children. The unions were at Queen's Park today with the opposition parties calling for action, all as the Premier was absent for the 4th day this week. Lorena Redekop has more.
Workers representing 5 big healthcare unions went to Queen's Park with a message for the Premier.
Your plan is failing. It's time to change course and take action.
Ford's government has put the healthcare system on life support.
They want more done to bring in new staff, keep current workers, and bring back those who have left.
It's unmanageable, it's unsustainable. It's not going to get better unless this government acts. It's not getting better, and we're only just seeing the tip of the iceberg.
But once again, the Premier wasn't in question period. He's been away all week. His office did not respond when asked where he is. This is all during an especially bad respiratory season for children. Some hospitals have canceled non-urgent pediatric surgeries, including the largest children's hospitals. In question period, the opposition suggested the government is purposely not doing more.
It appears they're starving the public health care system to manufacture a crisis and create a reliance on for-profit companies.
The health minister said the government has invested, including adding a nurse retention bonus in spring.
We will continue to work with all healthcare providers in the province of Ontario when they bring forward innovative ideas, and we will continue to fund those innovations because we understand the people of Ontario deserve better than what they've been getting for the last 20 years.
New provincial numbers do show one improvement with the situation for pediatric ICU beds. There are 20 available beds today compared to not enough a week ago, with 2 over capacity. However, overall spaces are also up, with a total of 130 for the first time today versus 112 before. One healthcare change is coming December 1st. Doctors will receive roughly half the money for a virtual visit, criticized by opposition parties.
Virtual care is an important one, and to pull that back at a time when people can't get to their family doctors, can't get to the emergency department, that is rationing care, and it's not appropriate nor acceptable.
A spokesperson for the Minister of Health says people will continue to have access to the care they need. The minister was not made available to answer questions. Lorenda Redicomp, CBC News, Toronto.
This thick layer of fog hovered over the city today, the fog lingering well into the afternoon and night. Environment Canada warning it can cause near zero visibility and make for hazardous travel. If you're a driver, the weather agency urges you to slow down and ensure your vehicle lights are on. Let's go to Dahlia Ashry now. Dahlia, I noticed that dense fog while driving home last night. I guess it stuck around and the rain's been holding off though.
That's right, Kelda. You probably didn't bring your umbrella into work today, but you will need it tomorrow morning as you're commuting. We will be seeing some rain tonight and tomorrow, but there is some light at the end of the tunnel. There is some sunshine on the way. But first, let's talk about the daytime high today. It was pretty warm, pretty mild temperatures. There was a fog advisory that was in effect for most of the day for Halton, Peel, Toronto, and also York, Durham region. I mean, Toronto, the daytime high is 9 degrees, really well above seasonal temperatures, and that will carry through for the rest of the weekend as we head into it kicking off tomorrow. Now, we will be seeing some rain tonight. That fog that we saw earlier today, that will be clear overnight tonight. That rain will continue until tomorrow morning. We get a break on Saturday, and then Sunday, a little bit of that rain starts to come back, and we will be seeing that precipitation throughout most of the day. As for tonight, temperatures will drop. We will see that will be 7 degrees still, quite mild temperatures, but those damp conditions will continue tonight and into tomorrow as you commute to work. But there will be some dry conditions in the afternoon tomorrow as we kick off the weekend.
All right, thanks so much, Dahlia. The new session of Toronto City Council has only just started, but it's already dealing with some contentious issues, specifically 2 pieces of legislation from the province that will directly impact the city. Municipal Affairs reporter Sean Jeffords has more.
Next motion.
Toronto City Council voted unanimously Thursday to ask the province to change course on its sweeping new housing bill. Council wants the province to preserve a number of elements of the city's development rules that help it pay for growth. Perhaps most importantly, the bill would waive or freeze fees to encourage developers to build. Mayor John Tory says the city simply can't afford to lose $230 million a year in revenue.
They're taking money that otherwise would have come to us to pay for growth and leaving it in the hands of the developers and leaving us with the bill for all of the infrastructure and other things that have to be done to facilitate growth and build complete, strong communities. That's what's going on here.
City staff warned council the revenue it stands to lose pays for sewers, sidewalks, and streets that service these new homes. Chief Planner Greg Lintern says it will hurt Toronto's housing affordability and will work against its goal of creating more homes.
Well, the thrust of the bill is laudable. We need to do that in a manner that also supports the myriad of growth.
Council's newly appointed housing champion, Brad Bradford, says that council itself is speaking with one voice in opposition to the changes.
We want to build more housing, but the way the regs on this regulation are written today with this bill, it's not going to do that.
Councillor Asma Malik represents the development-heavy downtown ward of Spadina-Fort York.
What this bill is doing to diminish our capability to actually build more affordable housing, to actually protect renters in the way that we need to, and to be able to have the power that a city council should have, especially a newly elected one. It is a huge concern.
Council also received petitions from several thousand people opposing the province's plan to expand its strong mayor system. That would give Mayor John Tory the power to win some votes with only a minority of council support. Alejandra Bravo was one of a number of councillors to present the petitions.
I'm writing today to ask you your help to uphold a fundamental part of our democracy, that decisions are made by a majority vote at City Council. I am asking you to oppose Premier Doug Ford's undemocratic Bill 39.
Toronto City Council meets one more time before the end of the year, where it's expected it will debate the new strong mayor powers. Sean Jeffords, CBC News, Toronto.
Our Toronto Argonauts celebrating their Grey Cup win with thousands of fans in the city today at their championship rally. The Argos defeated the Winnipeg Blue Bombers 24-23 in Sunday's Grey Cup. It was the team's first championship win since 2017. For many members of the team, it was their first Grey Cup win, including MVP Enoch Muamba.
We're on this stage right now, and everything that we did really happened. I still can't believe. Every day I tell my wife, did that really happen? Did that really happen? But I know for a fact that we are champs.
Muamba was also named Outstanding Canadian by the CFL. Fans packing Maple Leaf Square for the rally, including Mayor Tory. Welcome back. Toronto commuters were supposed to be riding the new multi-billion-dollar Eglinton Crosstown by now, but the line continues to be mired in problems, especially at the corner of Yonge and Eglinton. And we've been learning a bit about what's going on there, but the full extent of the issues remains a well-guarded secret by officials, so much so that 2 city councillors are now making a push for some transit transparency. Angelina King explains.
11 years, $5.8 billion, 3 delays, and no answers. Councillor Mike Cole wants some.
Metrolinx has been totally secretive.
So does Councillor Josh Matlow.
What are they hiding?
The 19-kilometer Eglinton Crosstown LRT was supposed to be on track to run this fall after blowing past 2 previously announced completion dates. In September, Metrolinx said the project would be delayed a 3rd time, but wouldn't say why or when it might finally open. Sources say the issues behind the recent delay lie here, underground at Yonge and Eglinton. Crews are up against increasingly complicated engineering issues running the crosstown underneath the existing 70-year-old Yonge line.
All I know is they keep going back and revisiting this site here with more machines, more cranes.
The subway structures above. According to this video released by Metrolinx in 2019, the Yonge line has almost zero ability to shift, a maximum of 2 millimeters only, about the width of a grain of rice.
It's very complicated.
This geoscientist with a master's in engineering focuses on subway expansion in the GTA. Tamara Kondrashova says it could be impossible to predict some of the complications that may have come up, since crews may not have known the condition of the Yonge line until after work began.
You can plan for certain risks, where each risk would be assigned with a certain cost, but reality may be different, because like as soon as you open up old aging infrastructure, you see how stable is this.
Metrolinx declined to explain what may have gone wrong and what's being done about it. Ontario's Ministry of Transportation didn't respond to multiple requests for comment.
I think there's reason to wonder why they're not being honest and open about it.
So Matlow and Cole will table a motion next month that will ask City Council to request Metrolinx's CEO and the Transportation Minister to answer questions at a committee meeting. It will also demand the province launch a public inquiry into the project.
We want Metrolinx and the provincial government to learn from this, both from an engineering perspective but also from a transparency perspective.
After all, tunnel digging for the new Ontario line is expected to start next year, and it'll have to snake underneath both the Bloor-Danforth and Yonge lines and could face similar issues. Angelina King, CBC News, Toronto.
Let's go back to Dahlia now. And Dahlia, these mild temperatures sticking around as we head into the weekend. There is some rain in store, though.
That's right, Kelda. We saw a lot of fog earlier today. We didn't see any rain, but we will be seeing that tonight and into tomorrow. There was a fog advisory that was in effect, and that will clear up overnight tonight. But there is some sunshine down the road. But first, let's talk about what to expect as we head into the weekend. Well, first, the daytime high at 9 degrees in Toronto. We're sitting well above seasonal temperatures, and those mild conditions will be the trend as we head into the weekend. The fog won't be around, but like I said, we will be seeing that rain tonight and as we head into tomorrow morning on your commute to work. So you probably didn't need an umbrella today. You will need it tomorrow, and you will need it again on Sunday. We do get a bit of a break in between, like I said, so we do have that rain tonight going into tomorrow morning. We get a bit of a break, and on Sunday, as you can see, there is heavy rain that's in southern Ontario, making its way into Toronto as well from south of the border. Now, we will also be seeing some windy conditions. It wasn't really a windy day earlier today, but we will be seeing that tomorrow and as we head into the weekend as well. So winds will be gusting up to 60 kilometers an hour throughout Friday and into Saturday. We will be seeing similar conditions. So a little bit of rain, a little bit of wind tomorrow throughout the day. But then, like I said, we get a bit of a break in the afternoon. And then Sunday, we get that heavy rainfall. As for tonight, damp conditions, 7 degrees for the low for this evening. And then we're seeing similar conditions across the Golden Horseshoe, a little cooler out in Hamilton, 4 degrees. But that precipitation is really what we're seeing across the board for the Golden Horseshoe. And then those mild temperatures. So a bit of a wonderful weekend if you want to head outdoors and enjoy that. Saturday is really the day to do it, as we will see most of those dry conditions before we head into a bit of a wet spell on Sunday and Monday, but then back to some drier conditions on Tuesday. So, and it gets a little colder as well on Tuesday, but some warmer conditions Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Thanks so much, Dali. Finally tonight, the 96th annual Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade took over the streets in New York City today, kicking off the holiday season. This year's Sights and Sounds featured dozens of spectacular floats and marching bands, the usual gigantic high-flying character balloons, and of course, the biggest attraction of all, Santa Claus himself. An estimated 3 million spectators packed the parade route under sunny skies to take in this year's festivities. Now, the hugely popular event dates back nearly a century. And that is our show for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Maribel Tarouk has your next local newscast tomorrow at 6, and I will see you back here tomorrow night at 11. Have a great night, everyone.